Hey folks, this is Lawrence with a quick edition of Molten Media Minute, I guess this would be. And so I've been going through a bit of a series of challenges that I wanted to relate to you folks about because I thought it might be helpful for you in the case that you might get stuck in the same challenges and how to overcome them. Uh, it's been kind of eye-opening for me. So I thought hey, you know what? This is awesome. I'm getting some traction going. And I thought I'd share some of the results and give you some practicals on what you might do if you run into some similar circumstances. So let me start with the first one. So I hired we're gonna, this is basically about customer service and how to overcome some of the behaviors of customer service. So uh, I'll go ahead and define what that might be. So I have this concept, and it's called the human shield. So you have these customer service reps. It used to be in the day, they had a little saying, and the customer's always right. The customer's always right. Beautiful philosophy, right? How could that go wrong? So as we move through time, things get more and more complicated, and so something as simple as like, hey, we charged you too much. Okay, let me look at this paper ledger. Oh yeah, we did charge you too much. Now everything's computerized. Everything's layered with different fees and concepts within these business structures that it's getting very challenging to negotiate everything. We had a problem a couple years ago with our service provider for internet, and you call them up and you'd be on the phone for hours and hours and hours. And I got to a point where I realized I was raising my voice against someone that did not have the power to help me. And so that this has become a new strategy for larger companies is, hey, you know what? If they can never get hold of the person that can make a decision, then nothing ever gets resolved, and we can pocket the outstanding balance of whatever this situation is. So I picked up on that little nuance there, and it's revolutionized the way I've handled things with customer service reps. That's um, that's angle number one. And so angle number two is we're moving into a new era where not only is the person on the other end not able to make a decision to help you, and they send you into bureaucracy. But then the new thing is like, well, if it takes 2 months or a year for these guys to deal with you, then they can turn around and they can say, look, this happened a long time ago. Why are you still barking up this tree? And almost like to say, there's something wrong with you to not let this thing go as we pickpocket you, or again, it's about how do they reduce amount of the bleeding due to their own what they're accountable for. How do they push that off on the customer so they won't have to eat so much of their own running cost? I guess is the what I'm trying to say. So scenario number one, I hire an attorney for a legal situation. They deliver what I consider to be two out of the three things that they promised. The two items that they did promise, they didn't do a great job on, but they did legally deliver on their end. So there's nothing really I can do about that. However, when you move on to another part of the contract, they put absolutely no effort, no determination, nothing into delivering on the third component of this contract. So I contacted them and I said, look, um, we're at the end of this case. You've closed the case without my approval. You have delivered A and B, but C is pending, and C is a $1,600 item. I would like a refund on that. Well, I'm sorry, sir. this happened last year, so we can't do anything. It's like you not dealing with it for a year has made it my problem, and now I'm accountable for the fact that you're taking a year to realize that you owe me. It became really like, okay, wait, no, hold on. So I began to realize this is going to get to be an emotional situation. So what I decided to do is I just said, look, this is the way they're going about it. I'm going to be stoic about this. I'm going to state facts, figures in the most emotionalist way that I can. And then I'm going to go ahead and implement whatever I need to implement. And I'll let them know I'm going to implement it. So that's what I did. I said, look, obviously we're at this impasse, and my next step is to go ahead and file a complaint. So too many complaints from a regulated industry can take your company out, or it can lead to a mass lawsuit. So this is something they don't want. So I began using legal terminology with them. No problem. The contract said this, you're not going to do it, and I understand, and I will go ahead and do my next logical step, which is to contact the state bar. Well, I could assure you, sir, I could assure you, is the words that they use. I could assure you we will not be able to give you what you're looking for. I might be able to get you a partial refund, even though we didn't do any of the work. So I said, well, I can assure you that is illegal. So I'm going to go ahead and file. So as I just calmly dissected it, bit by bit, the noose began to loosen from around my neck and began to tighten around their neck, which is where it belonged in the first place, on account of their not meeting their obligations. So sure enough, as time transpired, I might even bleep out the word news because it seems like, you know, there's guidelines that need to be adjusted for. So anyway, as time transpired, they decided, hey, you know what? We owe him some money. So they shipped off the first set of money, and then they shipped off a second set of money, equaling the amount of money I asked for. So that's scenario number one, and I'll probably be doing a follow-up video on that particular company. They're absolutely dreadful to work with, and they're predatory. They work on the concept that you need something, therefore you need them, and you should be kissing up to them, and there is no fiduciary duty on our side. So we're going to be talking about this particular instance down the road. But so let's go ahead and go to scenario two, which was what I'm currently in the middle of. China-owned company, a big one out of China. They deal with really marginal to low quality merchandise. It's kind of fun to purchase on them. It's a bit like being a kid and you're winding the 25 cents hoping for the set of dice and you get the plastic ring instead. And that's kind of how they do business. That's their general running mode. Sometimes you win, in general you don't. So it's almost like entering a casino instead of entering a place to do business. So I got scammed on that particular site. They said, hey, we're going to do this one thing, and they end up doing another thing. So they offered a reimbursement or a free service for something that they had fouled up on before. And I said, sure, no problem. They said, select items. I select the items, and then the logo for my credit card goes across the screen. I'm like, what just happened? So it turned out that they ran my credit card for the amount that they were reimbursing me for. So that's a no-no. That's fraud. So I contact my credit union, and I won't name the credit union right now, but we'll see how it goes. They began to, I'm sorry that happened to you, and can you tell me more? And I told them more. Okay, and then we'll investigate it. And I go, you know what? I would like to speak to a supervisor. Sure, we'll have them call. 48 hours, 72 hours, a week, a month. No one gets back. I did call in between that time, and what they did do is they issued a credit to my account. So the credit the amount was taken out of my account by the company. Credit was issued into my account by the credit union. And now we're to a point where they said, hey, we've done the investigation. It turns out that they shipped you the product. It's like, yeah, of course they shipped me the product. I told you that already. Yeah, but if they shipped you the product, that's it. So no, wait, hold on. You're not getting it. It's a fraud. They said this and this happened. Anyway, long story short, well, I don't know. We'll have a supervisor call you. No supervisor. Call, no supervisor. And then they use that tactic, as I told you before, on the front end. Well, it's been a long time, so I don't know if we're going to be able to help you. It's like, well, it's been a long time because you haven't helped me. You get to a point where you're like, what's wrong with these people? What, how are they being trained, or how are they not being trained, or what is going on where we're in this situation? So that's something to be. I want you to focus on that next time you're on the phone with a customer service rep. Are they blaming the amount of time it's taking to get it fixed on you? We went from the customer's always right to the customer's always wrong. Prove that you're not wrong with 45 degrees of, it's like, what are we doing? So this remains to be seen. However, I did use the same technique, and I just said, hey, no problem. Let me ask you this. Your credit union, who governs over you to make sure that you're regulated and that you're doing the right thing? And then she furnished the wrong series, and she said it was the NUCA. I'm like, NUCA, what's that stand for? She told me, and it didn't even match. So I looked it up. It's the it's NCUA and not the NUCA. So I called them up and I talked to them, and they said, yeah, you could fill out X, Y, and Z. And just like what happened on the other instance, I called the governing body. I said, hey, is this legitimate what I'm talking about? Am I going crazy here? Because they're so adamant that they're right. They're just so adamant that they're in the right. No, that seems legitimate. And they're really not supposed to say that. So God bless the man that actually helped me out on that. But so now you got this. Now you got the other organization say, yeah, that's a legitimate excuse. Go ahead, or a legitimate complaint. File the complaint if they don't do anything. So here we go again. So see, I'm in the middle of this thing where I'm understanding how much. There's two forms of income. There's the amount of money you earn, and there's the amount of money you keep. And one thing I don't want to do is do this enormous push to make more income while I'm bleeding out the back end, and I'm not able to fill the hopper there. So that's what I'm going after currently, is like, how do you get past these what seem to be ironclad organizations that are really not working for you anymore, even though there's regulations that state they need to be working for you. Why is the fiduciary duties of these companies going down the drain, and what can we do as consumers to change those? So step one, understand that the person on the line is trained to do certain things. So when you get escalated, when you start to elevate your blood pressure on them, it really does nothing except point to a series of facts that they're collecting against you, that you are being unreasonable and you don't have a valid complaint. So step one, stay in control of your emotions. Practice stoicism with customer service folks. Do your best not to threaten, but when it's appropriate, inform. Tell them, hey, I understand where you're coming from. I don't believe that's the case. You get to move your chess piece. I get to move my chess piece. Let's see where this goes. And now that would send a signal to him saying, I wonder if I'm handling this file right, instead of throwing up this defensive, this guy's a jerk, I'm not going to help him. Uh, we have a fund for legal actions that are against. Instead, they should think like, oh, this guy's obviously not causing the problem, and I might get terminated, I might get fired, or I might get chewed out by my supervisor, right? And then just understand that there are things in place that can protect you. However, you need to be wise about how you use them. So anyway, this is Lawrence with a Molten Minute, and hopefully that is valuable information. And if it is, let me know. Leave a comment down below. Um, I've been out in the sun, so I'm a little tired, but anyway, leave a comment out down below. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know if you've ran into anything similar, and if you suspect the companies that I'm talking about and you want to put those down in the comment section, go ahead and do so. I will let you know if you're correct or not. I will say yes or no to that, or a Y and an N, and I'll do that. So anyway, this is Lawrence with Molten Media Minute, and I hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.